All right. So this was filed on 10/10/25, 1:02 p.m. The office of Tiffany Moore Russell, Clerk of Court, Orange County, Florida. So Sarah K. Boone, pro se respondent, original tablet message and attachment sent via email October 2nd, 2025 by Nicole Ray. For verification purposes, here is my handwritten message and copy, along with the original page 4, which was removed without my permission from my closing arguments. It's really hard for me not to get into my Sarah Boone snotty voice. I know that can get annoying, so I will try really hard not to do it. But man, is it hard not to go into the snotty voice, the Karen voice. Miss Isis Lee and Honorable Judge Lashonda K. Jackson. Is that normal to put a judge's full name out like that? Is she being like disrespectful doing that? I feel like it is disrespectful, but maybe not. Just because it's written out. But anyway, because I don't remember her ever writing out like Judge Wooten's full name, but I could be wrong. Anyway, in my emergent, oh gosh, it's the word salad. In my emergent attempt to contact you regarding my corrected closing arguments before your ruling, and in order to be done fairly, my friend is resending this screenshot on my behalf from my tablet. I wrote the message from DOC and I am handwriting them mailing this message along with my missing page to be included for verification. In my extremely limited resources, this is my only option. And I hope to send this life-changing document. Oh, life-changing document. Did she really put that? This is my only option, and I hope to send this life-changing document. Do you hear the violins in the background? I do. They just started. They're like these tiny violins playing. My heart bleeds purple Kool-Aid for Sarah Boone. I had to forward my closing arguments to one resource, Australia, to type, and another, New York. I'm clutching my pearls. My God, what this woman goes through. To mail expedited to get to you in time. Oh, she's a trooper. For whatever reason, and without my instruction or permission, the sender took it upon themselves to remove one of my pages to make for a certificate of service. Oh, she's explaining why this all went down. I did not instruct or advise this sender, nor was this even created or included in my original closing arguments written by moi, Sarah Boone, the Sarah Boone Goone. Please, Judge Jackson, understand the importance of this missing page containing my parenting plan section and the beginning of the attorney fees section to complete my arguments properly. Please accept and understand my desperate attempts to be successful in this matter, especially and foremost with my son. I am grateful. Please accept my sincere apologies. Respectfully submitted, Sarah Goone, October 2nd, 2025. Sarah Boone. The end. No, there's more. There's more. So this is it. Let's see. I think Verna says, I think her flying monkeys have been promised money if they help her. Oh, that would make a lot of sense, actually, why she would have them. That is the only reason that they would still be doing what they are doing and risk going to jail. And this closing was not in time, and it was 15 pages. If it had one in right, it would have a stamp date and time on it, and not a handwritten one. Yeah, I agree. I can't stop musing over the flying monkeys. That who in their right mind, I guess this is for the third time I'm going to muse about this, who in their right mind would be a Boone Goone? A flying Boone Goone monkey. I just can't fathom it. It just, of all the things in my life I would want to be, that would not be one of them. I mean, she did it. Granted, she could have only spent 15 years, but I mean, because of her problems in her head, because that's the only thing that I can attribute it to, she did this to herself. So, and I just like, and I'm putting my rational thoughts in it, but that every day of my life, I would wake up thinking, F me, I did this to myself. But she can't do that. I mean, she's not able to do that, but that's what I would be thinking about. Like, if I had been offered that 15 years, I'd be like, yes, because, she'd already served like 5, dragging it out. So like, it would have only been like 8 years. I would have been sold. Knowing that I got a deal. I got a deal. But anyway, I'm putting my rational thoughts into it. Getting back to her letter, Sarah K. Boone, pro se respondent, closing argument, page 4. Per the petitioner's amendment parenting plan, the father shall maintain open access and contact between the minor child and the mother, and to foster a feeling of affection between the minor child and the mother, because that's what Sarah Boone's doing between probably doing between the son and the father, right? She does right by Brian Boone by fostering a good attitude, whereas back she just wanted Brian arrested, didn't even care where her poor son was going to go. I mean, I'm sure like Sarah, I think Sarah's only got her one brother, her other brother's in prison. So there's probably not a lot of people on Sarah Boone's side of the family interacting with the son, which I keep almost saying the son's name, which I don't know why, because I never say the son's name, but it's like dancing on the tip of my tongue, and I'm just praying it doesn't come out. Do you guys ever have that, like, where you're like, please don't say it, please don't say it, but it keeps coming up, and I never say his name. So okay, for the son. And I feel like she doesn't foster that same kind of behavior, but she has the balls to put it in her letter. It's just shocking, but it's not shocking too, because we know who Sarah Boone is. I have to remind myself it's Sarah Boone. The child will be a legal adult in only 3 years, and respondent questions why petitioner would attempt now to deplete the communication and comfort already established and the relationship between mother and son. This would not and is not in the best interest of Sarah Boone, I mean, the child. What the respondent is proposing will deepen the relationship and truly foster feelings of affection, because she did all of that while she was out of prison, right? Before all this happened. She was the mother of the year, wasn't she? 1 30-minute phone call per week proposed by the petitioner father, which she wants him to pay for. So that would be money coming out of Brian Boone's pocket. Like, she's not willing to pay for any of this herself. Will not at all achieve any feelings of affection, nor the father ensuring 1 monthly visit if football games don't take priority, he stated in trial, which, I mean, it's probably a father-son thing that they enjoy doing. Like, oh yeah, let's go visit your mom in prison and not watch the football game. Or, yeah. I don't even know if the son should be forced to go to the prison at all. Does the son even want to do this? What has the son said? Do we know that? I don't even know if I know what the son even wants. In continued elevation of the relationship with her son and his best interest, in accordance with Perez versus Perez, stating restriction on parenting time must serve the child's best interest, not the parent's convenience of preference. Respondent requests this honorable court to order 1, respondent to be included in all aspects, because Sarah's got to be in everything. We know she's got to have her little niggle and everything. including major decisions unless emergency, proposed travel, appointments, meetings, everything pertaining to her son's life. So she is aware what his status is overall and continually. I can't even. I feel so bad for Brian and her son. 2, petitioner to communicate and cooperate properly with respondent via telephone. I do want to say that her writing is much more neater and I'm able to read it much better. She's writing better for this judge. Petitioner to communicate and cooperate properly with respondent via telephone and tablet message to have any questions answered or concerns addressed about her son, or to update petitioner about changes in her life they both need to be made aware of. Like, not when she was on the outside and able to drink and live a drunky poo life, she probably wanted none of this. Like, she didn't give a care. She didn't care where her son was, what he was doing, who he was with, if he came to her house opposed to watching football at his own house. That would have given her time to like do whatever. Unless she thought it was if it was convenient for Brian, then that would be a problem probably. 3, regular open communication and telephone calls between mother and son upon child's availability, of course. 4, regular open communication and tablet messages between mother and son with credits to utilize features to send pictures and as alternative to phone calls. Of course, this would be on Brian's dime, which Brian's dime is her son's dime by proxy. Number 5, in-person visits 1 to 2 times per month with maximum allowable time permitted by the facility. 6, petitioner to complete a co-parenting class and attend counseling of his choice focused on parental alienation and communication strategies to promote a positive future as parents to their son and in his best interest. Seems like she should be the one doing the parenting classes. Lastly, the respondent wishes to address the petitioner's request for attorney's fee and for these fees to be retroactively offset against his alimony arrears. The respondent respectively requests that this court deny the petition's motion for attorney's fees under Rosen v. Rosen. The court must consider not only the parties' relative financial resources, but also the scope and history of the litigation, including whether one party's actions unnecessarily prolonged or complicated proceedings. Is she talking about herself? Because I feel like she's talking about herself, what she did during trial, but we're talking about the court, the family court. But you know how she drug her criminal court out, that she wanted even more time. She didn't even want to take it to trial when they took it to trial. Including whether one party's actions unnecessarily prolonged or complicated proceedings. That's just so her. Here the petitioner has willfully failed to comply with prior court order obligations and has initiated this action despite being in contempt of court, as held in Canacaris versus Canacaris. I don't think I'm saying that right. Canacaris versus Canacaris. Fee awards are intended to ensure equity between parties, not to reward a party's acting in bad faith. The respondent additionally asked the court to strike or dismiss the petitioner's request as nothing more than another improper attempt to evade his obligations to pay longstanding alimony arrearages. Continued with page 5. And then goes back to that document that we were reading in the beginning, and I will link that so that if you want to read the rest of that document that Tanika had, you can do that too. Let me see what you guys are saying, because wow. Well, this is a life-changing document. My life has changed. Is your life changed? Ugh. If she kind of up getting any money and then she will not be able to get any free legal help. Well, yeah, that's right. If she does get money, she won't get any legal help. But I don't know. Do you think she's going to get any money? Man, she certainly doesn't deserve any money. Whenever she got this feelings of affection phase, I wish she would put it back. um, I she's shocking to me. She's just so freaking selfish. Let's go over to Reddit and see what they're saying over on Reddit about her. I thought this was interesting. This person said, I cannot make up my mind about the severity of Sarah Boone's case. Sarah Boone was arrested in February 2020 for second-degree murder of her boyfriend, George, who died in a suitcase. During initial questioning, Sarah handed over her phone willingly to authorities, and the phone contained 2 videos showing Sarah intoxicated, taunting George with sarcastic and mocking remarks. While he was in the suitcase begging to be let out and claiming he could not breathe, the videos were filmed some 13 hours before she called authorities the next day. In the video, the suitcase appears to be awkwardly located face down at the bottom of the suitcase. From the moment the police arrived at 1 p.m., the day after the taunting video was filmed, Sarah vehemently claimed the death was an accident and that she doesn't know exactly what killed George. Sarah slept until 12 or 12:30 on the day she discovered George's body in the suitcase. It is possible she did not dawdle and after waking up and discovering his body, because while police are on scene, she is begging to retrieve her cigarettes, Dr. Pepper, and water, clearly suffering from cotton mouth and thirst following a night of heavy drinking. Sarah did summon her ex-boyfriend to arrive around the same time the police did. It was actually her ex-husband. Um, Sarah's demeanor while police were on scene came off as fearful, mumbling, and surprised and horrified, but not so much as override her thirst and nicotine cravings. There was an absence of tears, but this does not mean much, and alcoholism can numb emotional response to bad things. Sarah immediately waives her right to silence. She presented a story I consider unique for her age group. Her and George were doing art, solving puzzles, and playing hide and seek for an entire day leading up to the incident. Sarah denied she or George had much to drink, but later in her final interrogation, demurred to blaming alcohol for her actions. In Sarah's main interrogation, she is a hot mess. She does not deny her implication in his death, but insists it was an accident in a way which she assumes she shall not need to be arrested. She asks many questions throughout which seem to lend to her planning for a future not involving being in jail. It is almost as if she is subtly fishing for assurance from the detectives that she won't face consequences for George's death. Sarah's insight in the interrogation comes off as insultingly naive and incentive from the viewpoint of the detectives, a weird combination. It may be that Sarah's alcohol brain is wholly incapable of navigating or processing such as a serious incident. I think we were witnessing a lot of alcohol brain. As if Sarah's incriminating interrogation and evidence isn't bad enough for Sarah, the next 4 years will bring the hilarity and vexation of Sarah's ill-conceived navigation of the aftermath of her bad decisions to ever greater heights. Sarah continued to spend almost a half a decade in the county jail, her trial repeatedly delayed as she goes through one attorney after another, treating each of them to an endless chain of lengthy letters and unreasonable demands. Sarah will not cooperate with a defense for herself. Finally, the judge on the case ruled she sabotaged her last lawyer and will not cooperate with a defense for herself. Finally, the judge on the case ruled she sabotaged her last lawyer. You're done, my friend. And this is, I worry, like if she ever gets an appeal, that this will what will win her the appeal. I'm not a lawyer. It's just, like something that I worry about, but I'm a worrywart too. And now she will have to go to trial without a public defender. The trial is scheduled for October 2024. So this was obviously written before she went to trial, and we learned everything that Sarah did. So this person is basically saying, what the F is going on here? After moderate pondering and consideration, I am left to propose 3 paragraphs of thought about this case. The first is my unqualified armchair diagnosis of Sarah's mental state. She fried her brain with years of unemployment and alcohol abuse. Her brain is pickled. She has 1 or more personality disorders. And I mean, I'm agreeing with everything this person is saying so far, just so you guys know. She has, and just for context, my background, I have a BA in sociology, psychology, and I was a social worker for 20 years. So she has 1 of more personality disorders and has a clearly adolescent disposition. It is my belief that Sarah is incapable of composing and conducting herself in a manner which would optimize the outcome of her legal battle. But is this all the cascading chain of events following 1 bad trip on alcohol with an action that Sarah cannot believe she could have possibly committed in her sober but still compromised state of mind? This is what I'm thinking about this case. It is clear that Sarah caused George's death, but whether it was involuntary manslaughter or premeditated murder is irrelevant to the fact that Sarah cannot deal with what is happening to her, and as a result of her incomprehensible stupidity and the trauma of her guilt and consequences and her personal disbelief has slowly snowballed on itself into a bizarre clusterfuck of jailhouse interaction with judges and attorneys. And I will add to that, I think it has to do with like the typical Karen and her being so unagreeable that her putting up such a fuss in a fight, most people get sick of it. She runs people down, like their will and their ability to, like, they just want to get her out of their hair. So they like say, okay, Sarah, you win, you win. So her winning all these small fights over and over reinforce that it's okay for her to act like this. I will say that I feel has been a large portion of Sarah's issues too, is the ability to win all these small fights because she wears people down, where you just, like, if you know people like this, like, you have to pick your battles with these effing people. And a lot of it stems from her mental health issues, but still she won all these small battles over and over again that made her feel invincible to the point where she thought she could zip somebody up in a suitcase, beat him with a bat, push him down the stairs, and pass out, and it'd be okay. Yeah. Okay, so finally, I have 2 theories which stand out in my mind on the degree of truth in Sarah's case, and they are as follows. Sarah and George were drunk and effing around, doing whatever all day. The day ends with Sarah daring George to try and fit in a suitcase so she can breathe, berate him half jokingly while she is too intoxicated and fried to register the danger he is in when begging to be let out. And we have to also remember that George is in this same alcoholic type brain, but only he's dealing it with in the way that he deals with it. So, I mean, we wonder why anyone would get into a suitcase, but I mean, like, he probably drank far more than most of us, right? On a daily basis, and possibly did other substances. I don't know. She does not believe he is in grave danger. So this is why she has such a cavalier attitude in those videos. She then weaves upstairs into bed, which she would have had to step right over that suitcase to weave up those stairs, for 12 hours. Maybe she gives him a ride down the stairs for fun. She is guilty of involuntary manslaughter. Maybe that's what she actually did to get him in the suitcase. Like, let's ride down the stairs, because I have a picture of my own self in college. I lived in this sorority house, and we had these wooden stairs, and during the wintertime, for funsies, we rode down those stairs with the sled. So I mean, maybe that's what she was doing, like, hey, get in the suitcase, and like, I'll push you down the stairs. And he got in the suitcase, and she's like, here, let me zip it up, like pushed him down and just did it fast. And next thing you know, he's riding down the stairs. 2, Sarah exhibits a bit of resentment and evil when intoxicated. She built up internal resentment at George. It ends with her plotting to kill George and make it look like a weird accident. The best way her pickled brain can dream up. Hold on. It is. I definitely think that it maybe was a combination of both, actually. I don't think it was 1 or 2. I think it was a combination of Sarah's an evil person. Let me get him in the suitcase. While I've got him in the suitcase, now I can say what I need to say. And it just, one thing led to another. And yeah. Jolly Rock Hopper said, Judge Jackson would have accepted a handwritten closing as long as it didn't exceed 5 pages and 2nd September postmark from the DOC. I wonder what the judge is going to do with that. I do wonder. And, it's typical Sarah Boone fashion that she is trying to put the blame off of people in Australia and New York. I had to rely on people all the way in Australia and New York. I can't get a lawyer to save my life. Well, I've had 14, but that's on the other case. But I can't, I just, ugh. After drinking, how could she even go 12 hours without a bathroom break? Like, you mean when she passed out? Like, yeah, you would think she would wet herself in bed or something, but I don't know. Telling non-true stories gets her attention. Amen to that. Oh, you have a sister like Sarah? Doesn't know what the truth is even when you catch them or prove it in lies. Like today's day and age, the gaslighting that people do, they will make you feel crazy even when you know what the truth is. If you let them, you've got to like latch on to the truth when you know you're with those kind of people and just hold on to it for dear life. Like, I'm riding this one out for dear life. I want to take a moment to take a quick break here and talk about today's sponsor. Yes, we have a sponsor. And I am really enjoying this sponsor. Something wicked this way comes. Something wicked this way stinks, but not on my watch. The weather starts to change and there are layers added that can lead to increased, let's just say, heat. Coats, costumes, hoodies, all trapping more than just warmth. So grab your wild deodorant before your next trick-or-treat run or late night live stream. It's refillable, aluminum free, and witch approved. No plastic waste, no scary chemicals, just clean lasting freshness. Get 20% off your first purchase at shopwildrefill.com/ParaWomen with code ParaWomen. What we really like about Wild deodorant is that the whole deal is that you buy a case and then you buy the refillables so that you're not wasting plastic. It's all natural. We have gotten some feedback from some people that have bought the Wild deodorant. Shannon, my co-host on Sunday, she just bought the the latte one. She says it smells like caramel latte. And she said what she likes about it is that other deodorants pill up in her armpits. I do know what she's talking about, how it will pill up, and she has noticed that this one never pills up. It doesn't even pill up on day 2 when she's getting in the shower. So it just dissolves right into her skin and she likes it. I like it too. So if you want to try it out, you can get 20% off your first order There is the code, use code ParaWomen for 20% off. They have these little cases that you can get where you get like deodorant, you get soap, and you get, I think, lip. So you can buy little cases. They have all these new cases for Halloween that are super cute that you can buy. They have some new scents out. Yeah, so I really like the little cat one in the background there. They have some Jolly Rancher scents, some watermelon scents, but they also have your typical like vanilla. They have some male scents. They have unscented. So yeah, I really like it. Thank you, Wild, for supporting us. No bathroom break for her poor dogs either. And she said in court she didn't even feed them before going to Brian. I know. She just left those little dogs. And then she used the dogs. That was another creature that she treated horribly on the outside when she could have given them great lives. But then, during court, she tried to make it seem like, oh, I rescued these senior dogs and I gave them the best life possible. No, you didn't. No, you did not. Here, I wanted to look over on Reddit, and they are talking about the filing that we just took a peek at. They say, does Boone know her filing is incomplete? We know that one of the flying monkeys has alleged that Boone's closing argument was missing a few pages. While these pages have been made available to YouTubers, they don't appear to have been sent into the court, nor that it would make a difference, as one, they would be considered late, and two, it puts the filing over the 5 pages, so the additional pages would be ignored. Has Boone been informed that her filing is incomplete? I mean, I'm sure she has. I'm sure she knew, and now she's seeing all of this, and it's like probably really honking her off, which makes me a little bit happier. But yeah, I'm sure she knows now. The missing pages are where she addresses the family plan she wants put in place. If Boone requested an extension to court, to correct the error, the court could grant it, but only if opposing party would suffer no harm from the extension. Opposing party would suffer harm from an extension, as I have no doubt Boone has been blowing up Brian's son's phone and will do so until court says different. So waiting for the final order is costing Brian money, and I would have to agree with this. In addition to the longer the case remains active, the higher the attorney fees. Check. So the likelihood of an extension being granted is 0. I hope so. And if Boone were granted an extension to file the missing pages, it violates the court order 5-page rule, which you guys have been saying in chat. Due to Boone using people who are not licensed attorney to file her document, the missing pages are not a cause to appeal. I'm going to assume Boone doesn't know about the incomplete filings, as she could have put her poison pen into action. If you know someone in Lowell prison, maybe buy them an extra honey bun and ask them to let Boone know, and then let you know what her reaction was. And we are looking for that person. I promise you. I hope Lindsay is able to come up with somebody. She has come through on the Watts case for us. We're coming up with an interview for the Watts case. So let's see what other people are saying. Her missing parenting plan could be what drives a wedge between her and Nicole. If Nicole hasn't told her that it's missing from her filing, well, I mean, she said in there she was very unhappy with that person, then I'm sure that either Peter Gunthal or Julian Delapine has probably told her. I'm hoping that either Tanika or Classified True Crime will have some update call logs soon. I think I saw Tanika released a members only on updates on call logs. So Nicole was commenting on Classified Crimes channel. She also went back and forth commenting with Hear Me Out. Here are a few interesting points from these comments. Nicole did type it for her, but then sent it off to someone else unnamed to finish and submit. Nicole said that she didn't write that part when talking about the parenting plan. Nicole said that she should expect perfection from Sarah and her non-lawyer friends. That we should expect perfection from Sarah and her, we should or shouldn't expect perfection from Sarah and her non-lawyer friends. There's so much info here. I can't believe she admits to actually writing part of the closing. She doesn't say she helped edit it for Sarah. Nope. She wrote part of it. She also didn't spell check or care enough to make sure. This is probably really heating Sarah up, like the misspellings and stuff, or care enough to make sure there weren't errors. How can they believe that's okay? I bet this drives Sarah insane. I hope it does. Sarah goes through pens and pads of paper to ensure her handwritten letters to the court are perfection. And she got, that must be why it's really well written, this last one, and I was able to read it, because some of her Judge Wooten ones were, I dreaded reading them because I struggled. I will never really understand these people. Amen. I truly believe that Nicole wrote part and sent it on to someone else for the parenting. Is Nicole from New York or from Australia? That's what I want to know. And or child support part. The whole thing reads like a cut and paste patchwork of different authors copying from different resources. Yeah, you know what? This didn't sound like Sarah Boone. It wasn't so word salady, actually. It wasn't so chat GBT. It was more like actually concise and to the point. Not totally concise, but it was like more. So good point. Only the snarky bits were authored by Sarah. Even the font showed the patchwork nature of the document. Doesn't matter in the end, though. Her performance at the trial was pathetic, and she elicited zero evidence that aided her. On the contrary, she showed her complete lack of understanding of what was at stake and spent all her time trying to attack Brian. You know, we're coming up on our birthday celebration. It's kicking off on October 18th, and it's going through November 6th. We're going to start it on the channel's birthday and end it on my birthday. And I am considering going over this trial. It means I'm going to do lots of lives and videos, and you're going to be seeing a lot of me in those 20 days. And I need to find things to do during those 20 days. And I thought covering this trial would be a really good one. And I also thought about covering Taylor Shabusiness and, yeah, so. And worse, she annoyed the judge so badly that the judge, was showing her emotions by the end. Well, I mean, Sarah wears at people, doesn't she? I mean, you'd have to be a saint. And she probably is a saint having to deal with Sarah Boone. And I'm sure Sarah will demand a new trial because of obvious prejudgment. You mean prejudice, Sarah? And black robe disease or whatever. Did she really say black robe disease? I can't with Sarah Boone. I just can't with the Boone. So I thought we'd go on and look at a few more things. I want to end it with looking at law and crime. Some bizarre moments in the Sarah Boone's.
Behind the barn, there's a thicket, and if you listen late at night, you'll hear a cricket, and it sings a song, and I know the words